into all Q&As. This is going to be great. If you've never sat through a Q&A with John before, you guys are really in for a treat. This may be PG-13, I'm just warning you. But that's not a bad thing. I am Mark Walters, I'm the programming manager. Thank you so much for coming out for Fan Day. I hope everybody's having a good time. Quick drill, we do have microphones set up in the audience. There is one here, there is one here. We will try to take as many questions as we can get to. Just make sure that your questions are short, sweet, and to the point. And please no requests for anything like autographs, selfies, things like that. We just want questions from the audience, all right? After a couple of really awesome episodes of Arrow, it is such a thrill to have, you know him as Malcolm Merlin, you know him as Captain Jack, we know him as the awesome John Barrowman, ladies and gentlemen!
Hello. Did you say, you said quick drill. I love a quick drill. PG-18. Thank you.
See you on the stroke.
Yeah, see you later. Get off my fucking stage. Hello. What's your name? What's your name?
Laura.
Laura. My name? Oh, you do differently in the States. So say it's American Sign Language. But my name is John. But then, what was it? This Christmas I was Buttons. But sometimes I like to be Cinderella. I love the signing for Cinderella. Cinderella. It's meant to be a broom, but somehow I make it look rude. Y'all know my Asian bitch, Kelsey? Everybody always asks her afterwards, like, aren't you offended that he called you? She's like, no, because he's my big gay dad. Right, Kelsey? What? Yeah, Scott and I are big gay dads. The fact that she's young enough to be our daughter is the truth. I hate you. So, yeah, great to be back in Dallas. Totally awesome. And I love the fact that they had to turn, I'm sad, so sad, but I love it that they had to turn people away. How lucky are you? Just means they should have planned a bigger room for me! Because we all know that when I'm in Texas, I'm bigger and I'm better. I'm just gonna rattle off all these double entendres and get them out of the way. I have been so cooped up, it's not even funny. You think that's true? You're lying. Totally lying. No, I flew out yesterday from Palm Springs. And we just bought a new house. And thanks to you all. I gotta be honest. That's why I love you, because you give me the life that is fantastic. So we've just bought this new house, and we're selling one of the other ones. And I'm happy to say that Stephen Amell has slept in one of my beds. With his wife. Okay, don't tell Stephen I told you this. But Stephen did stay at the house by himself, and Scott and I weren't there. We let him have the privacy of the house. So we went because my parents have a house just up the street, and so it's like not planning. So we went and stayed with my parents, and Stephen was by himself, and one of his business partners was with him. And so the next day, we're all by the pool, and we're sitting talking, and I tweeted some pictures if you follow me on Twitter and stuff, and on Facebook. And the whole time in the pool, Scott, just was not looking at Stephen. I said, Scotty, what's wrong? And he said, I just can't look at him, he's so beautiful. I'm like, really? This is you right now? And he's like, I'm speechless. And he said, he's just so beautiful and amazing. And I'm like, well, I gotta work with it every day. And he's like, now I know why you love going to work. So, cut to them leaving, right? And they're going and da-da-da-da, and they leave, you know, the house, and they're off, going back. Steve was going back up to Vancouver, and his partner was going, his business partner was going off to Los Angeles. And I had to go to the grocery store, because it was in the morning, and I always go buy Scott and I a coffee, so I went to get the coffee. Can't believe me telling you this. I come back, and I walk in, and I'm like, Scott, honey, I got your coffee. There's silence. And I go, Scott, and I walk, no, there's nothing wrong. I walk into the bedroom and I see this. Should I leave? And he went, no, but the bed smells wonderful. He was sniffing the goddamn bed! Do you blame him? No. Does anyone have a bottle of water or something I can have? Because I've got a bit of a voice thing going on. Is it? No, it can't be open. It's got to be. Yeah, is it fresh? Are you kidding? I don't want your germs. But I'll happily give you mine. Thank you, sweetheart. That's been somewhere. And I love you for it. So I was taking off from Palm Springs the other day, and yesterday, it seems like a day ago, and the new house, which we bought, Scott and I love airplanes. We just do. Scott, I don't know if you all know, since I was last year, Scott's got his pilot's license, and he's begging me. He's like, I think we really need a plane. I'm like, what? You better start hooking. I got enough jobs at the moment. So the house though has a view from our back garden, the most beautiful view of the mountains, but also the planes when they take off, which is awesome. Because when like the Air Canada WestJet flight going to Vancouver flies by, I stand on the jacuzzi and moon them. It's awesome. So I'm taking off. It was an American Airlines flight. And I text Scott before the vicious flight attendant's like, turn that thing off! I'm like, all right. Doors just closed. So I text him, we're taxiing. And he said, watch the roof. So I put the camera ready, hold it to the phone, to the window. We take off, we lift off, and there's Scott on the roof. And I videoed it, and I tried to post it, but guess what? The video was too long to post! I'm from, the internet, on the plane, I text back and I said, honey, you're too big to fit on Twitter! And on Facebook! Consider yourself lucky. Listen, I usually just go now to questions, because I think it's your time. You guys want to ask the questions and all that kind of stuff, and usually I feed off of the things that you ask me. I don't hear anything. You're lying. Is that how you do it? You're not going to do it, are you? No! See if you understand. This is sign language, bitch. You know I'm playing, don't you? Yeah, you do. When I do all my live stage shows, we always have a specific, because I'm part of a charity in the UK, a very big charity called Hearing Dogs for Deaf People. And I went deaf for a day. That's the way you applaud. You Oh no, so everybody, I want everybody right now to applaud, right? That is so awesome. Just turn around and look at the whole room, guys. Turn around, ready? If we all knew a bit of sign language, it's so important because a lot of people that you see in the street, you don't know if they're deaf. So sometimes you think they're being a little reserved and you don't maybe communicate the same way that you should with other people. Like if they lip read, you can look them right in the face and watch so they can see the lips. But hearing dogs for deaf people are very important because it makes them a little more aware socially and also integrates them more into society because as soon as you see the dog with the thing on, you know you're dealing with a person who is deaf. So it changes things a lot for people. But I went deaf for a day, and it was a really interesting experience for me because although I still had an element of hearing, I could not experience what it was like to be completely 100% deaf. But the way that people treated you differently was so amazing. And we all know, I know a lot of people in this room, you know, all of our backgrounds, some way or some part of our lives, we've all been treated a little differently. So it's really important. And I love that you guys are all here. I love that we have a lot of deaf nerds. I love deaf nerds. And you know why? Because they're the loudest motherfuckers you can believe. Let me tell you. Right? Yeah, they're all shaking their heads. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Questions? Yes.
So, I'm Erin. I wanted to ask
You're in?
Erin.
Oh, Erin! Sorry. My mind's somewhere else, Erin.
Here in Torchwood, what was it like being the only American among a bunch of Brits?
I'm actually British. So someone hasn't read Wikipedia, or someone has read Wikipedia. No, I was born in Glasgow, Scotland. I carry a British passport. And I also have an American passport, so I'm a dual national. But I'm you know, I'm a lot British, so it wasn't any different for me than it was anyone else. Thank you very much. Sit down. No, it was the accent was the only thing that was different, and it was there was nothing unique about being differently accented. Can I say that? But it was awesome. The whole experience was awesome. Sorry, I kind of threw you off there. I can see by your face you're like, is he laughing at me? No, we're laughing with you. Ready, everybody? Awesome. You ask another one if you have one. No?
You kind of ruined my question.
Hey, don't be a Debbie Downer on the panel, okay? I possibly did, but you asked the wrong question.
Okay, what question would you prefer that I had asked?
What would I prefer that you ask? What's the favorite food I like to eat when I go out on a Thursday night?
What's the favorite food you like to eat when you go out on a Thursday night?
I'm so glad you asked that question! Because nobody's ever asked that question ever before! I love eating chicken fried steak. With mashed potatoes, gravy, and collard greens, and I'm not kidding you. And then we rotate between chicken fried steak and fried chicken. So Thursday night is our fat night. And I love it. And when we're done, we go to a restaurant in Palm Springs called Tropical sometimes on the Thursday night for the fried chicken. And when I go there, and I tend to, this is not a good thing, so don't do this, I tend to starve myself the whole day. Because when I get in there, I eat. And eat. And eat. And when I leave, I kind of look like this. That's as far as I can stick it out. Well, my tummy at least. Thank you very much for your question. Thank you. Yes, this side.
Hi.
Hi.
Have you ever been presented with a role or with a line from one of your roles that offended you so much you refused to do it? And if so, do you feel comfortable talking about it?
This face ever be offended? Yeah. No, I do do not get offended by a lot of things. The only thing I ever get offended by is rudeness or somebody who is being, shall we say, well, inconsiderate, and also, well, I'm just going to be blunt, someone who's being an asshole to somebody else. That offends me, okay? And I'm going to put this, I hate walking around with it today. I've never had a line that's offended me. I have had stuff in the pantomime script that, I don't know, when I talk about pantomime in the UK is a traditional British show. We do it every Christmas for 6,000 people a day, 2 shows of 3,000. We do it for about 4.5 weeks, 2 shows a day, 7 days a week, 6 days a week. We have 1 day off, usually. And it's based on a traditional fairy tale story with current events, popular music and everything, song and dance all into it, and jokes, right? Now, I will make fun of myself. I will make fun of myself being gay. I will make fun of, you know, the lady who plays opposite me, who plays my little brother. She's actually 67 years old and a woman, right? So she's dressing in drag as a man. I make fun of her being small. So we all make fun of each other. But what I don't want to do, it's got to be a joke that's, this is going to sound weird, it's got to have a positive twist to it. So you can't walk out. If it's somebody who's making a joke, like coming up to me and going, no. I can go, but you can't do it to me, right? And because you're making fun of it. Does that make sense? So those kind of things, if it's being made fun of, then I will ask them to change it, and I do that quite often. But I generally am never really offended by a line. I enjoy a good laugh. I think that the day we forget, and this is what I love about you guys, about we who are nerds in the big nerdum world, right? We laugh at each other. We have a joke. We're not so precious that we get upset by it. And the fact, the day that we stop laughing at ourselves is the day we are in trouble. Yeah, big trouble. So that's my big thing. You're welcome. So you'll people will go home and be like, hey mom, dad, I've got this joke to tell you. They'll be like, ah! John Barrowman said we shouldn't be offended. Don't. Yes. Hello. I think somebody turned the mic off. There's a little button there, flick it.
It's on. Hello.
All the lesbians in the audience got that one. How old are you?
I'm 14.
Forget I said that.
My question is, will you be involved with Gishwiz this year?
I don't know.
It's the greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever
I
seen.
know what it is. I do know what it is. And I know my Misha. My Misha! Oh. She's 14. But I love that you're standing
14
like
is
that.
high school. Know that.
I know 14 is high school. You probably know a lot more than some of us in the room do. Right? Gish wishes, I'm not sure, it depends on my time. What I usually do is I get a team to do it for me, and to go out and let me know what they have to find and all that. But I help, because I did have some people come up to me and they did the duct tape of themselves or of me or something that it was.
Yeah, the duct tape bust.
The duct tape bust of me, yeah. And I let people do all that kind of stuff. So if you're doing Gish wishes, if you don't know what it is, contact this young 14-year-old. And she'll let you know what Gish Wishes is and get involved. It's good fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Study hard. Yes.
Well, I'm Jess. I guess I'm just going to take this mic off and be sassy. My name is Corey.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Hi, girl.
I'm a librarian.
Are you? I love.
And I have been.
You're the kind of librarian we always needed at high school. Look at you, girl. Come and check out this book.
Right?
It's about the Grand Tetons.
My service.
And the Grand Canyon. It's about mountains and valleys.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you an earthquake.
Listen, stop being sexy.
You're telling me to shut up?
No.
Hey, don't have a sassy gay off with me, because I will win. Because my line is talk to the hand because the wrist is pissed.
That's a good one.
Go on.
Okay, so this summer, our summer reading program is superhero themed.
Yay!
Right? And that's right up my alley. And I have a hard time getting, yeah, that alley. That's the one.
Good for you, girl.
The alley.
Good for you.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure the Marvel Encyclopedia fits. See? You give it to me, I give it back.
You have to ask my husband.
Is it? That's fine, because he looks like he's got a DC encyclopedia.
So, my question for you is...
Hi, Barbara.
You're cracking me up.
Am I?
Yes, so I go out to schools and
Yeah.
I try to promote the summer reading program. And I want to know what you would say to kids about the importance of reading and why they should participate with their local libraries.
Well, the importance of reading is the fact that, oh, okay, I can get really heavy here, but I can be really light, but I'm going to be kind of both. If you go back in history, there was a period where they burned books. And they
burn at Fahrenheit 451, that's the temperature that they burn at.
Correct, I know that.
Ray Bradbury said so.
I've never burned a book, so I don't know. No, but they have in the past, and people have fought and died for the right to have literature and books and stories. And for a generation that's coming up now only having e-readers, that's all great, and things on the iPad, all fantastic, but there's nothing that beats holding a book in your hand.
Or smelling
The smell of a book is unbelievable. I was just recently on Vancouver Island in Victoria, in British Columbia, and I went to a very big bookstore that has rare books, first editions, and I literally, honest to God, obviously I love books, my sister loved books, my family, we're all big readers, it's really important to us. And for instance, for my niece Claire Turner, I bought them all the sets of Enid Blyton and Winnie the Pooh and all the Dr. Seuss books and many other books through the years. So, and just recently I went out and I bought a series of first editions for my niece Claire's son, my great nephew.
My birthday's in August, if you want to buy one.
Okay. You keep interrupting me, I'm gonna make you sit down. No, I'm kidding. I went and bought, again, the first editions of the Enid Blyton set for him. So it's very important for us to read, but I was like, that bookshop for me was like that shop. It was awesome. I stood in there and I was like Scott sniffing the sheets. He probably had more fun. It was awesome. Just the feeling of being there with all those old books. I mean, books that went back. I bought a first edition of Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, man.
And the reason, I've never read Dr. Zhivago, I have seen the movie, but my grandmother, her favorite song was the Lara's theme from Dr. Zhivago. So I thought I'd have this book to represent that memory that I have. And in my bookshelf, all those books. Books are memories, that's the only way I can put it. You must read if you can. That would be my message to kids. Books are memories. A lot of people fought for the right to have these books. Do it. Read, read, read.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hi, my name is Story. And
Story?
Yes.
Oh, well, you're like a book yourself.
Yes, but I want to be a writer when I grow up, so.
Awesome.
Anyways, I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Go ahead, it's all right with them.
Okay, first, who is your favorite person to work with on Doctor Who?
Oh. Yes. I don't really answer favorite questions. Try the next, but I mean, if I just say David's my doctor. I love working with Elizabeth Sladen. Elizabeth was our kind of mother, the mother of our ship, so to speak. Anybody who's ever been a companion or part of the Doctor Who world, if you're a companion, everybody bases a little bit of their companion on Elizabeth Sladen because she was the quintessential Doctor Who companion. She was a girl, she was a journalist, she was a girl before her time, she had bigger cojones sometimes than the doctor. He would push her, he would, rile her up, and she would stand up to him and get angry and defy him and do things. She was awesome. And I remember the first day that I met her, I was going in the elevator up to my apartment. We lived in a building in Wales, all of us, and we called it Who Towers. And some mornings I would be finishing night shift, filming, and I'd be coming in, either from Torchwood or Doctor Who, and David would be coming out, and, I only wish. He's not, by the way. He'd be coming down in the elevator, and we'd meet him downstairs, and I'd be like, "Good night, Dave." And he's like, "Morning, John. Have a great day. I'm going to bed." And one day I got in the elevator, and Elizabeth Sladen got in after me, and I was like this. And I went, "Hi. Miss Sladen." I literally became you guys. Because I am. I was like a total fanboy at that moment. I was like, "Miss Sladen, I'm John Barrowman," and I just went, "I know exactly who you are, Captain Jack Harkness." And I think Sarah Jane Smith and Captain Jack should cross paths. But, and I went, "Really? But? What?" She said, "But I would have to spank you for your use of your guns." I left that elevator, I was like, "Have a nice day." And I walked out, and I got to my front door, and I went, Scott came running to the door. "What the hell's the matter?" I went, "Sarah Jane Smith! Just in the elevator, she has speech, she spanked me! Oh my God!" And he went, "Who?" I'm like, "Yes, she's on Who!" Long time ago, but she's coming back, but nobody knows yet. Spoiler alert! He's like, "Would you just get in here and go to bed? You need to sleep." I'm like, "Okay, fine." It was brilliant. One of the most amazing times. So yes, next question.
Out of anywhere in the world, where is your favorite place?
I have to be honest and tell you that one of the best vacations that Scott and I ever had. Ooh, the best? Well, there was two of them. One was we went to Rome, and instead of doing all the kind of touristy things like everybody else does, we rented 2 scooters, mopeds. And this was before you get killed on the road in Rome. And we went to all the big sites and saw them like in 2 days. And then the rest of the week, we went places that really you don't hear about in the tourist books. Like we drove down on these scooters, the Appian Way. Now the Appian Way is the road, the original Roman road from Rome all the way down through to the south. And it was quite nice in the city, but see once you got about 4 miles out of the city, oh my God. These mopeds. But we kept going and we found some of the most amazing old houses down on the Appian Way that were ruins. So we had our own like Greek kind of ruin that, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say here, like a Greek ruin, and we just kind of took photographs. You know what I'm talking about, Barbara, don't you? Yeah. Yes. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Nice. We took selfies.
Yeah, sure.
Good selfies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, over here.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm actually 24, so...
Are you? So I can be as rude with you as I please. Yes.
My question is, we've seen this season on Arrow, Merlin training Thea to fight and things, and I was wondering if you thought she was going to be a villain like him and fight with him, or do you think she's going to go her own path and start fighting with Oliver?
Cheesecake. I can't answer that. Are you kidding me? You got your camera like this. And whatever I say, it'll be like online, and I'll be fired. You're just gonna have to watch.
You can't give
What
a
would you
personal
like?
opinion?
What do you mean? Can I give you a first thing?
A
No.
personal opinion. Like,
A who?
what would you like to see?
No. online. Because I'm the same. But what would you like?
I don't know. I think I would like
Oh my God, you don't know?
I think I'd like to see her as a villain because I feel like there's so many heroes at this point. Like, we need more to balance it out. We need more villains.
Okay, and that's your opinion. But I'm not telling you nothing.
Since you won't answer that, can I ask something else?
What?
Since you won't answer that, can I ask something else?
Yeah?
Are you ever going to be on The Flash?
Oh, since I can't go into the other thing, I'm going to ask you to think about something that you probably can't go into either. No, I can't answer that! I have no idea! I'd love to.
Okay, that's
Because Grant is gorgeous. Grant's what I call the, I've got Hunky Steven to look at on Arrow, but then Grant comes on Flash and I'm like, oh, you're a lovely sinewy boy, I like you. And you're overage. He's a lovely guy. Are you watching Flash? So awesome. And the rest of, the cast that they brought in, I almost let something slip there. Don't worry, I've been doing this for a long time. I know when to slip and when not to slip. It's an awesome show, and they're really they're doing a great job with the Flash, which is awesome. It's just great. Thank you, sweetheart. You're welcome. Yes, young man.
Hi, I'm Riley.
Hi, Riley.
What's your favorite moment on Arrow?
My favorite moments are the silly moments. It's weird for me because I'm not there every single day. I go up and maybe for 3 days film, and then I've got a couple of days off, and then I go back home, and then I fly up every time I have to film. But what's nice for me is I get to come in and step in, and David Ramsey's very funny to do stuff with in scenes. For instance, when I usually, as you see, I always talk a lot, right? On screen, I'm like, because I have to tell you what's been happening and what's going to happen, that kind of thing. It's informative speech. So I'm talking, and usually what happens is when they come to do the close-up on the other character, it's over my shoulder, or vice versa, when it's over the other character onto me. And then David Ramsey is notorious for me with this, because I tend to do silly things, right? Pretend you're David Ramsey, okay? So, that's it. And I walk up to him and I start talking, and when I know it's on his close-up, and I go, and I give him a wink, well, he does this. And then I go, look, serious. And he goes, And I'll tell you, once David and Steven get the giggles, it's like a drug to me, because I then do it all the more. And even points when it's on my close-up and we do have the giggles, and I'm going, okay, I gotta get this, because I've got a long speech to say, and I then go, 1, 2, Steven, David, ready, 1, 2, 3. And action. Shh, look at me. Okay, ready? And then I'm getting through it, and I'm being really serious. I'm being Malcolm Barrowman and all mean, and all I can hear is this. And then we finish, and then, because when you finish, you move on to the next scene very quickly. You go on to the next stuff, you do a rehearsal, so there's no time to talk to each other. And bless Steven, he came up to me the other day and he said, I just want to apologize. He said, because the other day you were doing that speech and I was off there going, he said, it was really, I said, Steven, it does not bother me. I love it. I love it because I know that what I'm doing is making you wet yourself. And there was another time we were, I don't think I've told this one in Dallas yet, but we were filming a sequence. It was in the early part of this season where Malcolm called Oliver to the big square, and they had this big conversation in front of a lot of people, and Malcolm wanted to have it there because he said, crowds make you invisible, right? and he's having this conversation, and I told the camera guys, I said, look, just keep filming when we stop. I want to do something. So we're filming, and the camera is like where you are, and Steven and I are talking, and I'm being Malcolm and all, and Steven's being Oliver, all and we're talking to each other, and I finally say something to him to the extent of, and I'll leave it like that. So Steven's supposed to turn around to the camera, because then they're going to come in too close to him to get his reaction as I walk away, right? So I went, so then Steven went, and I went, and I'll leave it at that. And I walked away, and then I went like this. Shoot that poison arrow through my heart. Steven just went, but I did it because I knew we'd already got that shot in a prior take, but I just wanted to have that laugh. Those are my favorite moments. To have a good time, have a laugh, but get the work done. That's the most important thing to me. Okay? Thank you.
Do you think I could ask one more?
What?
Do you think I could ask one more question?
I don't know if there's a load of people behind you. What is it quickly?
What's your favorite show you're on?
Oh, I never answer favorite questions. I love all of them. I love all of them. Yes.
Hello, my name's Dominic.
Hi, Dominic.
Hello. I'm wondering, who do you like playing more better, Malcolm Moreland or Captain Jack Harkness?
You hear all these people right now? Because no matter who I say, half of the audience is going to be upset. But that's why I never answer favorite questions. Because for me, each character provides me something different. Captain Jack was a hero who had to make hard decisions. Malcolm Merlin is a bad guy who makes misunderstood decisions. I don't know why you're all laughing. In my eyes, Malcolm Merlin is as big a hero as Oliver Queen. And that's why you like him. So it's up to me to make the characters different, but also likable for you guys. And that's why with Malcolm Merlin, there was a sequence I was doing where I had to talk about my wife, and the director actually wanted me to do it with my back to the group I was talking to, and then turn it at the last minute, and I said, no, please trust me on this. I know the fan base. I know what people like in a hero or a villain. Please trust me, trust me, trust me. Film me through the window with the group behind me. Film me through the window in a close-up, and just let me do my job. And they were like, okay, fine. So I did the whole sequence to the window with the speech, everyone behind me being able to be seen, and I'm telling the story about my wife, and I just let my eyes well up with tears so they could not see it, but you could see it. And that's part of for me, being a good villain. That's what I like to see in a villain, because you're in on the secret. They don't know it, but you know it. And Malcolm was, for me then, you got to see his deep trouble, his emotional distress, and a little tear just went, bloop. And I was like that. As soon as it happened on camera, I was like that. Yes. See. And then I turned to the rest of them, tears gone. So they have no clue, because he never lets them see the soft side, right? So that's why I think that he's become, people like him, but love to hate him. I love that expression. They're like, we like you, but we hate you. I'm like, yay! Whereas Captain Jack Harkness, hero, made tough decisions. If you had to go, you had to go. That was it. Yep. That's why he killed his grandson. Oh, please! One of the toughest decisions I've ever made! And that was the day that happened, the little boy, Bear, who played the character, he's probably like 18 now. Bear said to me, John, what can I do that's going to make this more dramatic? I'm like, good for you, kid. I said, when they call action, Bear, and I'm pressing the button, you look at me right in the eye, Bear. Don't take your eyes off of me, okay? Because they're going to be flipping between you and I. Look at me. I said, and when you look at me, when I look at you and give you a little nod like that, I want you to start shaking violently. And then the capsule that they give you, pinch it so the blood comes out of your mouth. I know. He's an actor. What does the kid do? We start filming, and I looked at him, and I gave him a little wink. He went, and I'm going, oh my God, this is really awful. And then he goes, clunk, and the blood goes, blah, and then the little jerky puts some up his nose, and like, this is awesome! So wrong, but awesome! And then after he's done, and I'm like, oh, and he walked up to me, was that okay, John? I'm like, you're a freak. And I love you. I said, that was brilliant. You're gonna freak people out, and that's a good job done. And were you freaked out? Yeah. Exactly. So the kid, pretty good kid. But yes, so all of those things. I love both shows. I love both characters. Okay? Awesome. Thank you.
My name is Calista.
Costa?
Calista.
Callista. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you too.
I was gonna say Costa. We have a coffee place in Britain called Costa.
Yeah. Well, my question is, I am an asexual panromantic, and
Okay.
so I've been trying to come out to my parents recently for a while, specifically to my mom. And I was wondering how you came out, or did your parents just know right away that you were flamboyantly gay?
Nothing like the bluntness of youth. I'm going to ask you a question first, though. Can you explain to me, what is it, asexual?
Panromantic.
Explain that to me.
Well, asexual.
Although I'm a big gay,
Yeah.
I don't know all the terminology.
Yes, okay, so asexual means that I think sex is nasty.
Say what?
I think sex is nasty.
Okay.
And panromantic means that I just kind of like everyone.
You like everyone. Okay.
Transgender, male, female.
Okay. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay, I can't really talk to you about this
Yeah.
because you're 15 years old.
Yeah.
And what I think you should do is you should find a group or go contact the local lesbian, gay, transgender community bureau. I'm sure there's someone in this room who can put you in touch. But you really need to do that, letting an adult know you're going to do it, okay? And then once you've done that, speak to them about how you feel. My big feeling is, and this is a tough thing to say, unless your parents are being exceptionally abusive to you, you're under the age of 18 and you're still living in their house, you kind of have to maybe just keep things a little quiet, okay? And you can start dropping little hints, but I don't suggest walking in the house at 15 and going, "Wah!" Right? You gotta kind of think about it before you do it, because you're 15, things could change by the time you're 18, okay? Because you might not think that things are so nasty. No, I'm being real here, right? Because love is a very different thing to sex, okay? So I would still continue to be who you are. Be who you are with your friends. Be who you are with the people who know you and that. And I'm sure your parents still do love you. But the time, if you're not ready, which it doesn't seem like you are because you're asking my advice, I would wait a little while before you bring your parents and tell them. Just don't do anything that is going to hurt you or get you into trouble, okay? And talk to somebody about it that's qualified to talk about it.
Can I
to
still
someone
ask
your
how
age.
you came out?
How did I come out?
Yes.
Yeah, I went back home to the UK when I went back to, I was doing Phantom of the Opera in London. And I went back home to my parents' place in the States, and I just wrote about it in the book, and I have no problem talking about it because I thought I was ill. Because most young men of my generation, anytime you got a flu or a sickness during that period, you thought you were dying of AIDS, right? Because we didn't have the testing, we didn't have all this stuff that now people can live, good, healthy lives with it. So, and I was okay, fortunately, because I didn't know, I wasn't educated about it. I was fine. I didn't do anything that was going to cause me to be sick. So I went back to my parents, and I was in this situation, but I just sat with them one night, and eventually I was so emotional, I just told them. I said, I'm gay. And I've known since I was 9 years old, since I hit puberty. And if you want to know more about that, you can read my book. But my mom turned, and she went, as she walked across the bedroom and turned like Joan Collins, she went, "I've known." And usually mothers do, they know, they just don't want to talk about it or admit it at that time. And my dad said, well, I don't understand a lot, but I'm willing to learn and to be open to all of this because you're our son, we love you, and we would not deny you to be who you are. And we don't ask what you do in your bedroom, so you don't ask what we do in our bedroom. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then we went and had dinner. And it was about a year or so before everybody was understanding and copacetic, but there was no distress. But that's why I don't want you to jump the gun. Sit back and think about it till you're 18, 21 maybe, till you're ready to really talk about it. I know there are a lot of young people who are free about it and don't care. But if my advice, just think about it a little while. I don't think you're going to change, but other things might happen in your life that cause you to change. Okay? But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're going to be straight. Do you know what I'm saying? Because no matter how much you pray, that doesn't change. Because baby, I was born this way. I just didn't want to admit it for some years, but yes. Thank you very much. Did I avoid the lawsuit? You were all witness to that, okay? Thank you very much. There's serious moments and there's jokey moments. Yeah, I'll go to this side. Yes. Please be a friend. Lighthearted. See?
Hi, my name is Kenneth.
What is it?
My name is Kenneth.
Kenneth, nice to meet you.
And I was wondering, how is it acting so serious as Malcolm Merlin on Arrow, and yet you're just so silly all the time?
You can say it. Who I am as a person does not define my job, right? And who I am in my job does not define who I am as a person. And the one thing that it struck me once when I was doing an at-home photo shoot with a big magazine in the UK, okay? And I have been pretty open about who I am for a long, long time. There was a period where I didn't want to talk about it, and that was just my business, which I feel that's appropriate if that's where you want to be. But something changed for me because I realized I could really help change things, right? So I opened those closet doors and I ran out, right? But people tend to put labels on people. And the one thing I don't like is when people call me a gay actor, because you don't call Brad Pitt a straight actor. I'm an actor who happens to be gay. Brad Pitt is an actor who is straight. Right? A photographer said to me, and I fought long and hard to stop them using words because they have to have a label. Like, for instance, flamboyant actor John Barrowman. Well, what does that tell you? What does that mean, right? It's a new way of saying gay. Over-the-top actor. Come on, just say actor. So this woman said to me, the photographer, she said, I can't wait to come and do the photo shoot at your house with Scott because I can't wait for you to get out the feather boas and all the stuff. Like, what stuff? And she's like, all the outfits and the costumes and la 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 la. And I'm like, honey, you're coming to the wrong house. I'm not Elton John. And I said to her right there and then, you better be sure that because when you come to my house, you're not going to get feather boas. The thing I have closest to a feather boa is I have a beautiful African headdress that an African, queen from a tribe wore, which is fantastic, but it's on my wall, but it ain't coming down and going on my head. And she's like, but surely you have some flamboyant stuff in the house. I went, yeah, and that's usually a chicken breast when I put wine on it and it flames up on the stove. She said, really? I said, so you better call your editor because you're not going to get that kind of stuff from me. In fact, my house might be kind of boring to you in that aspect. So it was that judgment that she had made just because I was a gay man. She'd already decided that I was over the top and flamboyant. And I've gone off on a tangent and probably not even answered your question. Haven't I? No, did I answer it? No, but not yet. Remind me what it was. You just gotta better say, John, back to the plot. What was it again?
How is it being so serious?
Right, so, what I was gonna say, point I'm making is, I can be serious. I can be something completely different on my job than I am at home. Or, I might be quite, Scott says I'm just as mean at home as I am on television. No, but that's my job. My job as an actor is to portray different characters. Now that's not to say, I mean, a lot of people say on Facebook and Twitter, oh, you're always happy, you're always so positive. I have down moments. I have moments where I'm not that happy, but you don't want to see that. You know that? You don't want to see me romping around the house in my underwear screaming that I can't find my socks!
I kind of do.
Oh, shut up.
I do.
My tiny bike. I can't find my socks! Where are they? Somebody get my socks! Calm down, dear. No, so it's not difficult to be those two different things. And that's the one thing that I say to everybody, you know, young, middle-aged, old, whatever. Always be yourself. Always be yourself. Because if once you're yourself and you're honest with people, they will let you do all that you want to do, and they will never deny you stuff. Because they can't. They just can't. Yeah. Did that answer the question? I'm so glad. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, John. I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Your selfies in front of the Alaska Airlines planes torture me because
Why?
I am from Alaska.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm not. I love it.
No, it's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. It is. I just meant because it's always cold.
No, not really.
Really?
It's a misconception.
Okay, see? I made a judgment. I need to go to Alaska.
Yes, you do, and that is my point. You need to get your butt up there because our small convention is having their 10th year this year. So please come to Alaska.
Kelsey? Alaska! Alaska!
My other question is,
Yeah?
when did you find out you were the face of both?
Haven't I told this story before here?
I'm not from Texas, I don't know this.
You're not from, that's right, you're from Alaska. Have I told this one? Oh, do you mind if I tell it again? Well, the day that the script, when the scripts came out in Doctor Who, they usually came out a few days earlier so you could read them, prep, to go to the read-through, then to see if they want to change anything for the next show. So David and I would get the scripts when we were working. I would get mine. David always got his the first because he was the doctor, obviously. And so David got his script and he read his script. It's like, and I'm in my trailer. I don't read my script till the read-through because I don't want to go ahead. I don't want to spoil what I'm doing in that moment. David read his script and all I hear is this. He comes up to I'm in my trailer having my lunch. We had a lunch break and he comes up to me at the door and I hear this. John! Like, what? Dude, you won't believe it. I said, don't tell me! I don't know nothing! Go away! So he leaves. Next day, lunchtime, we're at lunch, and I'm in my trailer having lunch, and I get this. I'm like, go away, don't tell me! Have you read it yet? No, I haven't read it yet! Okay, just go away! Next day, I read the script. I run to David's trailer. I read it again! He's like, I can't believe it! Oh my God! Unbelievable! See you on set. That was the but literally. And then a couple of weeks, months or so later, we have pizza or something and watch an episode. And we're watching this episode where I turn and I go, I remember when I was on the Beauchene Peninsula, they used to call me the face of Beau. And I thought, this is gonna be awesome. We're in the apartment. I walk up to the window just before that line and I open the window. David says, what are you doing? I said, I'm just waiting to hear the nation's jaw drop. And not only did the nation, but the world. One of the most brilliant plot twists ever. Just great. Just great. Thank you
so much, John.
Yes. hot.
I just want to say 2 things. One, I really love that you support deaf culture. I'm actually studying to be a sign language interpreter right now, so
Good.
that's awesome. And my question is,
Sorry, sweetheart. I have like Tourette's of that realm. I just go off. Yes.
my question is, with this type of nature of television shows, there's always times where your character's in some really strange situation. I'm wondering if there's ever a time when you're filming it that you just have to stop and think to yourself, what the hell am I doing?
Never. Ever. In my real life, yes. All the time. My fantasy world, never. Because part of you in your back of your mind, you know it's not real. So if it is stepping into a very large, a police box that's very large on the inside and traveling all over the universe, I can do that. No problem. But, standing up in front, you're gonna laugh at this, standing up in front of 4 people and doing a private talk, I hate it. It's really difficult. To do it amongst a bunch of people like this, much easier, okay? But it's things like that, so it's harder to do things in your real life than it is on camera. And the one thing that's great, and these are the little things that I haven't really told people, what's wonderful about the job and the life and the career that you've all given me is I get to live out every single thing that I don't do, couldn't do, or wouldn't do in my real life every single day of my life as these characters. But also these characters, exactly the same as they do for some of you, they teach me things. So I come away from playing someone like Jack Harkness and Malcolm Merlin with little lessons that have actually been written by the writers who write the scripts, which is jumping back, why it's important to read books. Because you learn. And you take lessons away from that. So it is, and I'm not being silly anymore, it's harder in my real life. Sometimes I have to stop and go, I don't know if I can do this. Right? But I have to, because what would it look like if these guys were in that situation? How would they deal with it? So really, there's a lot of Jack and Malcolm in John, and a lot of John and Jack and Malcolm. Right? I know there's no pun intended on that one, as much as I love it. But that's the beauty of doing what we do. I get to learn just as much as you guys love seeing what they do. So, yeah. Real life is hard. It is. Life is hard, but it's so much fun to have that challenge, to live it like that. Because if life was easy, God, it would be boring. It really would. It would be really, really dull. Yeah? You don't have to plug that. No. But that's, and some people's journeys are a little more difficult than others, but, we all have the difficulties. It's just how we deal with them. And I'm going to shut up now, Dr. Phil. Yes?
My name's Maddie. My name's Elizabeth. My question is, since we're here to see you at Comic-Con, if you were at Comic-Con as us, who would you want to see?
Really? Truly? I would want to see the whole panel, all of them together, of The Walking Dead. I'm a deadhead. When I did when Chris Hardwick rang me up and he said, "Can you come on The Talking Dead?" I'm like, yeah. Shut me up, try. And I went on. I was in my element. In fact, I was flying from Vancouver to San Francisco to get back to Palm Springs. And on the Vancouver-San Francisco flight, I was sitting there, and I brought my computer out, and I put on, current episodes of The Walking Dead. And I could see the guy next to me looking at it like, getting all judgmental on what I was watching, right? So thinking he might not like to see, you know, I turned the screen a little, but he just kept looking. So I finished the episodes, we're about to land, and we actually are on approach coming in, and he turned to me and he said, "What was that show you were watching?" I was like, why? And he said, "It was very violent." And I went, "Did you enjoy it?" He went, I said, "Well, you should have turned your head then." And he went, "Excuse me?" I said, "Well, why are you asking me that? And why are you making a judgment on my program? If you didn't like it, you shouldn't have looked at it, because I turned the screen away from you, but you kept on looking." And he went, "I beg your pardon." I went, No, I beg your pardon." I said, "You're one of those people that complains about TV shows but never turns it off. You continue to watch it, don't you?" And he went, "How dare you?" And I went, "No, how dare you? Have a nice flight." Sat there. I couldn't believe that he was going to diss me or try to tell me that what I was watching was wrong. So, Walking Dead, love it. So when I was on Chris Hardwick's show, did you watch The Talking Dead? Yeah. Are you guys allowed to watch The Walking Dead?
I've never seen any of the shows.
But you know about it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
and when you're old enough, you might want to watch it.
Yes.
Because it's...
Seems like a good show.
Is it awesome, everybody? But only when it's age appropriate, okay? So that would be...
I have a question too.
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
I love it that you've like choreographed this.
Yeah, we worked it out. Yeah.
Did you? Good for you.
We had pens too, writing them all down.
The what?
We had pens writing them down.
You did as we were doing it, and then you were like, "Oh, they've asked that. They've asked that."
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Are you best friends?
Yes.
Pinky best friends? Not sure yet? You will be after the show. Go have a soda. Are you here with your parents?
Yes.
Yeah, take them to McDonald's together, or something healthy if you don't want that option. Go on, next question.
Okay, after you finished Doctor Who, did you expect to do a spin-off or no?
I hadn't finished Doctor Who when they gave me the spin-off. I knew I was doing Torchwood after season... Let me think here. It was just before we started series 3, because when David first came in, I wasn't on it because they wanted him to establish himself as the Doctor. So I went into a kind of hiatus a little bit, and I did some other stuff. But they told me that I was going to be getting Torchwood on the night of the day of the July 4th bombings in London. So, and I was doing a cabaret show, and I remember Julie Gardner, our executive producer, Scott had to go pick her up on his motorbike. And Julie Gardner, to see coming off a motorbike on a miniskirt is unbelievable. Not in a good way. I love you, Julie, but when she got off, and she was like, "Whoa, wow." I'm like, "Oh my goodness." She's like, "Don't ever show that to anybody." I'm like, "No." So she came to the cabaret, and that was the night, and it was difficult because I had to go out and do the show and was not allowed to tell anybody. I was bursting. And for 6 to 9 months, I couldn't talk about it. I was bursting. And the first day I met Eve Miles, I remember Eve came up to talk to me. Did you watch Torchwood?
Yes.
You're still a little bit... If you do watch it, you can watch any of the episodes except number 2. Parents, remember that. Kids, not number 2. So yeah, you can do number 2s, but don't watch it. So Eve, the first time she met me, because in Britain, by that time, I was already on Doctor Who, I'd been doing other TV shows, I had my own variety show, I was doing lots of stuff. If I can say, I was pretty well known, okay? Eve came up to me, she was like, she was giddy around me. Giddy. And then to this day, she's like, I still couldn't believe that I was meeting you. And we did those first initial photographs, and she and I hit it off like a T, and we knew from that point it was going to be an awesome show, and we had a gem in our hand. So I did know, and it was very hard to keep a secret. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have about 5 minutes left, and then Leslie, about 5 minutes, then we gotta go. Yes?
Hi, you're really blurry. I need glasses.
You're blurry. I'm blurry. Blurry is good because it makes me look younger.
I know, you look beautiful. know, what do you think it would be like if Jack Harkness and River Song met?
Well, they're gonna meet in some photo ops, so you're soon about to find out. I think it would be an awesome meeting. It really would. Because there is so much backstory that you know that they don't really know. It would be an awesome episode to play. I think they would have, and I think they would need to let them get some of the tension out of the air.
Would you come back if they wrote an episode for you two?
I've always said, if I was asked back, I would hopefully be able to do Doctor Who, but because I'm now contracted to Arrow, it's looking less likely. If it was on the hiatus, possibly, but not during the time that I'm working on Arrow. Unfortunately, they missed the boat. But it's all good. I get to be Malcolm Merlin. Thank you. One quickie, yes?
Okay, my last question is, all of us on the online community are really confused how you can be that face of Bo if you can't actually die in Doctor Who. So how would that work?
On the online community, I will say one thing. Don't read into it too much. I can still be the face of Bo. Because, well, I am the face of Bo. But how he becomes the face of Bo has never been revealed. How the face of Bo dies, we all know how he dies, okay? But what you find out is in Torchwood, the last series, it's not because of what you think. How do I put this? Jack is not immortal because of how we think he was immortal.
Yeah, you're talking about Miracle Day.
Sorry?
Miracle Day?
Yes. It's actually his blood. So he's an alien, possibly, and they might have a lifespan. I don't know, I'm guessing. I don't know, because they've never been written. That's what I'm saying. Don't try to figure it out so much. Live with what you have, because if it's ever written, and it does come out, how wonderful will that be, right? But don't beat yourselves up trying to figure it out.
Thank
right?
you, John.
But you're welcome, and thank you for being a fan. Guys, I have to stop, but don't forget we have the photo ops and everything. I'm back to the table. I just want to say again, as always, thank you very much. It's totally appreciated. You've changed my life. You make my life wonderful, and I love you for it. You are awesome. Thank you very much.